Hello everyone, TMMgamer here, and today I have the pleasure of bringing you some very nice M60 gameplay on the map mission, playing some regular 6v6 domination. Now, this is a video response to a question I had quite a way back now, asking me how do I use LMGs in Modern Warfare 3, because LMGs have been drastically reduced in their capabilities since the earlier Call of Duties, because in the earlier Call of Duties, LMGs had no damage drop-off, so that meant that it doesn't matter how far away the enemy was, if you shot at him, you do exactly the same damage hitting him in the same spot on the body. But unfortunately, and for some unknown reason, Infinity Ward in Modern Warfare 3 decided to change this, decided to make LMGs act just like every other weapon, with a range drop-off over long range, and this meant that the LMGs didn't really have a place in the game anymore, because in earlier Call of Duties, LMGs were there as fire support. You could use them to suppress enemies over long range. They had huge magazines, they had huge firepower. Yeah, you moved a bit slowly with them, you weren't quite as maneuverable, and you weren't exactly going to silence this thing, are you? So you're always going to be on the map. But the trade-offs were you had pretty much unlimited range, you had a huge amount of firepower, and it was a good compromise. But for some reason, Infinity Ward at the start of the game got rid of this. I'm pleased to announce that they did end up patching it, so now the LMGs behave a lot more like they did in the earlier Call of Duties, and I have to say that's a fantastic thing, because for the first couple of months of Modern Warfare 3 there really was literally no point in using an LMG, because an assault rifle like the SCAR, the ACR, the Type 95 could do all that they could do and more much easier. But now that the LMGs have finally been restored to their place, they are actually a viable choice again. And a couple of months back I showed you one video of one way to use an LMG, and that was with high assault kill streaks on a nice wide open map and playing a little bit more defensively, playing that support role, and I ended up getting, I can't even remember how many kills it was, but it was a really nice gameplay, topped the lobby by absolutely miles and smashed it with loads of very high assault kill streaks. But Specialist is the other way to really get the best out of LMGs, because, for example, a weapon like the M60, which I'm using at the moment, you really need to have a couple of perks more than the regular 3 before it starts to feel like a comfortable weapon, because, it has a huge magazine, but when you're reloading it takes ages, so you want to have sleight of hand there. You move really slowly, so you want to have extreme conditioning there. It's got very slow ADS, so you want to have quick draw. There's like 4 or 5 perks that you must have to make this a good weapon. So obviously using Specialist gives you access to all of these perks and more, and it turns you into an absolute killing machine. And you see it from here. The first part of this MOAB streak, and I'm going to spoil it for you if you haven't read the title, this does turn into a MOAB. But the first half of this MOAB streak is very slow. It's because the M60, when it doesn't have all of the Specialist bonuses, isn't the best weapon in the world. But as soon as you get that Specialist bonus, you turn into an absolute machine. And there's a bit of gameplay coming up in a minute or so when I just go on an absolute tear around CDON with this thing. I just rip people apart, because you've got so much ammo, you've got so much firepower, and when you've got the Specialist bonus, you've got the maneuverability of an assault rifle. So basically you're running around with this absolute chain gun of doom, and the enemy really find it difficult to stop. So if you guys haven't used the Specialist setup on this, I really do recommend it. It is an absolutely fantastic setup to try. So if you haven't used this before, what I would recommend is setting up with Blind Eye, Quick Draw, and probably Steady Aim as your first 3 perks, because you need Quick Draw because the ADS time on all of the LMGs is pretty rubbish. You want Blind Eye because you're using Specialist, so you don't want to get all your way to 11 kills and then to be taken out by an attack chopper. It really does suck, that. So use Blind Eye, use Quick Draw, and use Steady Aim for your first 3. And then on this class, for my 3 Specialist choices, I've gone for Sleight of Hand first, Blast Shield Pro second, and then Marksman for my 3rd choice. Because Marksman obviously plays to the light machine gun strength at long range, and by having the enemy have their names pop up above them, it makes it so much easier to acquire targets over long range, and it really does help your accuracy a lot. And Blast Shield is absolutely crucial with an LMG, because you don't have the maneuverability to dodge grenades like you do with the SMG or with an assault rifle, so you've just got to rely on getting as far away as possible and hoping Blast Shield saves you. So those are the 3 perks I'd go for, but as you can see from this little bit of gameplay here, I am just dipping in and out of the buildings, absolutely mowing guys for my MOAB, and I get the streak there. But the M60 is a great weapon once you've got the Specialist bonus. It does take a little bit of getting used to, and it does take a little bit of time to get that Specialist bonus up, because for the first 8 or 9 kills, you are going to get outclassed by assault rifles. But once you have got that specialist bonus up, no weapon in the game can live with you. It is absolutely fantastic. So guys, I really hope you've enjoyed watching a MOAB. I really hope you give LMGs another try, because they are by far the most underused class of weapon in the game, and they do take a little bit of finesse to use, but once you've got the strategy down and the tactics down, they do turn into fantastic weapons. So once again guys, thanks for watching, and I hope you have a great day.